We've all heard the term fake news before, especially after Donald Trump had used this phrase more than 2,000 times during his presidency. But what does fake news really mean? According to the University of Michigan, fake news is defined as those news stories that are false. The story itself is fabricated with no verifiable facts, sources, or quotes. To avoid being captivated in the propagandas of the media, it is important to train yourself to become media literate, meaning you can differentiate the facts from the fictions. Today I will be comparing and fact-checking both a news story as well as an opinion piece regarding the unjust manner executed by the United States Border Patrol officials at the Coahuila, Mexico and Del Rio, Texas border. I truly believe it is important for everyone to become media literate, especially in this day and age. The internet makes it so easy to say or post whatever you would like, which is why you should always find multiple credible, reliable sources on topics and compare your findings to truly dig out the facts. After doing a great deal of research on what is really going on at the border regarding the treatment of migrants, I believe I am credible with my fact checks. The news pieces I will be checking include a news story from the New York Times by Eileen Sullivan and an opinion piece from CNN by Patrice Lawrence, and comparing the two and fact-checking for the truth and looking for biases within. Not everything published is factual. The New York Times article by Eileen Sullivan titled "After Del Rio Calls for Fair Treatment of Black Immigrants" is a news story article that would hopefully contain all facts, but it is important to ensure it's reliable by fact-checking the sources. Sullivan says in the article that the Biden administration's approach to border security has been inhumane. The facts behind this claim are indeed true, as an Associated Press article by Elliot Spat and Valerie Gonzalez titled "How Biden's Border Plans Went from Hopeful to Chaotic" show pictures of Border Patrol on horseback inhumanely treating Haitian migrants, treating them as if they were a herd of animals. Also, in the article, it states that the administration has begun a mass expulsion of Haitian refugees by promising Haitians asylum and unevenly allowing thousands to stay while deporting others home. This was a highly criticized act by both sides of the political spectrum. Also, in a Reuters article by Idris Latif and Christina Cook titled "U.S. Border Camp Clear of Haitians, Thousands on the Move," it states that border guards were on horseback using reins to contain Haitian migrants, hence being inhumane and referred to as horrific images. Another claim in the New York Times article by Sullivan is that the immigration system is still broken and has been for years. Unfortunately, this claim also turned out to be factual, as the same Associated Press article by Spat and Gonzalez addresses the broken system and explains how it is so. It states that the Biden administration is trying its best to make progress, but consequently have thrown out the previous policies without the enforcement of a new one, hence making the entire system crumble still. I found this article to be extremely factual and lined up well with the Associated Press as well as Reuters. All matched up well with images of the treatment as well as the descriptions on what was actually going on with the border and why the system itself is flawed. Opinion pieces typically contain less facts and more opinion, hence the word opinion. However, with opinions published, there should still be facts supporting them. An opinion piece on CNN by Patrice Lawrence titled "An Outrage at America's Border" is purely about why the United States has a duty to let Haitians in and why they should do so. The opinion piece takes aside that the Haitians have gone through enough tremendous hardships and are only exercising their right to seek asylum under the temporary protected status. In an article titled "Secretary Mayorkas Designates Haiti for Temporary Protected Status for 18 Months, published by the Department of Homeland Security, it states that Haiti is going through social unrest, security issues, abuse in human rights, poverty, and lack of resources. This justifies the opinion that yes, Haitians are going through tremendous hardships, stated by Lawrence on CNN. The opinion piece also explicitly states that Haitians are exercising their right to seek asylum in the United States. However, the Department of Homeland Security article says that it is not their right to seek asylum under the TPS. it is explicitly stated that TPS provides protections to those Haitians already residing in the United States. It does not guarantee that future immigrants will acquire asylum. Sorry, I've had a cough for days. I found this opinion piece to be mostly factual, although a bit over the top on some things that were said. Lawrence did exaggerate how much of the asylum seeking was the Haitians' rights and used TPS to support it, but it wasn't completely accurate with what TPS entails. Now I'm going to compare and contrast the opinion piece from the news article, in which the facts they stated were. Both the news story from the New York Times and the opinion piece from CNN touch on racial injustice. However, they both have differing things that were said about the topic. Both the news story from the New York Times and the opinion piece from CNN touch on racial and I already said that. The news story by Eileen Sullivan on the New York Times states that the Biden administration has said that it does not racially discriminate in its immigration enforcement actions and that the response to the Del Rio situation was consistent with its border policy. In short, this is saying that racial discrimination is not happening at the border under the Biden administration. However, CNN opinion piece by Patrice Lawrence says, "We were told that the Biden administration would work towards racial healing and bring forth a new era of inclusivity for immigrants. Instead, we are getting the same old anti-Blackness, cruelty, and dysfunction. This was not the mandate that the Biden administration was given. The administration has the tools to do the right thing, and they should use them." This opinionated quote, I think, is mainly saying that there is racial discrimination still happening at the border under the Biden administration, and that they have the tools to stop it, but haven't yet. They both have quite opposite outlooks on what is really happening at the border, which is why I did more research on the topic. An ABC News article titled, "What is Title 42? Amid Backlash, the Biden administration defends the use of Trump-era order to expel migrants," by Armando Garcia, Dina Zaru, and Quinn Owen, bringing up this Title 42 clause, in which allows the government to prevent individuals from entering the United States during a public health emergency, COVID-19. However, this clause was being used during the Trump administration as well as an excuse to expel over 938,045 immigrants, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protection data. It is stated that there has been an influx of Black migrants who aren't given the opportunity or a hearing or an explanation for their reasons to seek asylum, as well as deporting Haitians with no screening of coronavirus. It is stated also that Title 42 is the most efficient tool at the government's disposal for quick expulsions to quickly get people out of the United States without due process. This could be taken as racism buried beneath the blanket of Title 42, hence backing up the opinion piece by Lawrence. There are so many facts and biases around us and available to us everywhere. It is vital that we conduct research on different sources and make sure when we do our information, our information isn't leaning a certain way. The news article by Sullivan and opinion piece by Lawrence each had facts within them that I found to be true and credible. Although the opinion piece having more left-winged opinions within the news article, cutting more slack on what was actually going on at the border. The importance of media literature is vital, and it is important to ensure that you are getting reliable information, especially before sharing it yourself. Fake news will always be out there, and as the king of fake news once said, "Fake news is the enemy of the American people, Donald Trump." So watch what you read and don't be afraid to make those fact checks, even if it is uncomfortable. And there are my sources. I'm so sorry.